It's crazy.
I'm not sure what direction he's from. I'm not sure what direction he's coming from. He must have been less than tracks because he had a spot trade.
Jeff,
Oh,
Mayor,
oh,
Mayor still lives right there by the window.
it's Jeff Owens.
Oh, Jeff Owens, oh, okay. I'm like,
He's on
We don't have
one of the, we have a forum, but maybe you just let me know this time.
speaking of the culverts,
It was 25 years since this one was built. And it was chip coated, it was chip coated then.
that's all right then.
We never had that, we never had blacktop ever. So.
Never had a knock because I've seen a couple of people.
Yeah, I.
You look at it, Jurgen?
Yeah, they're good.
Okay.
Did you pull that one item that we discussed?
Yeah, we had enough on there that I wanted to try to do it at some time.
My son had that one rollerblades and just.
Things don't
This
wait
is so nice.
Yeah, that's true.
We've had a council plan meeting,
Yeah.
council, city council meetings.
I have some reliable sources, the next meeting will be at City Hall.
Yep, that's true.
And so, we realized that we're like, I have indentations all up into my legs from when I was a child. And my dad would have to carry me, and my mom would put me on the table, and take tweezers and she'd.
How was that?
And so now, I see that.
I had some,
Speed and all this, it's so nice.
I'm sorry, that's horrible.
Not in landscapes, but little skate, little roller skates, and fit out your shoes.
case we lost a lot of
This
Christmas.
kids have those.
Or if I don't have my code to get
And
in there.
everybody thinks.
I've got it on my phone, so I
On
can do
our
that.
drive, because we had a big driveway. And it's
Big
big
enough
enough
to
to
turn.
That's a good question. We have to make our
He
best effort
spent
to straighten
4
out.
hours today just setting
We're
the
not
trees.
required to have it. We could-
There you go, you just came in on two wheels here.
Hello, who normally sits here? I'm trying to remember.
Michelle. She moved down there.
Max, Michelle, Kyle.
Yes. Jeff's usually down there. Oh, now you're making me sit right home. Thanks a lot.
You can keep him in line.
Now I'm
Good
trying.
luck.
And Dave is in, Grace Street now right now.
And I spoke with Jeff about it.
Walk of shame.
Walk of shame. Jackson's 1 minute late.
No.
Almost due.
We're gonna put your chair out there, make you sit up.
I'm playing the mayor for that slow train.
Haven't we all? That's terrible.
Sorry.
It's all right. You situated, Jeff, we'll get.
But go, I previewed everything.
Okay, well, good evening, panel, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, we'll start our July 10th, our August 10th, planning commission meeting. And the first order of business would be approval of minutes. Are there questions or comments about the minutes? If not, would someone want to move to approve?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Max, all in favor say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? None, okay, carries unanimously. Next item of business, 2026, what's this here? 0801, 2283 North Detroit Street. Justin, take it away.
Yes, so the preliminary and final plat to subdivide a tract of land located at 2287 North Detroit Street has been submitted and reviewed for its compliance to the subdivision control ordinance. The petitioner is proposing to subdivide a 4.46 acre tract of land into 2 lots. Lot 1 is 3.56 acres and it features an existing multi-tenant building. It includes a utility and ingress-egress easement along the southern boundary, and it continues along the east side of Lot 2. Lot 2 is a 1.09 acre lot that features an existing storage unit facility with 3 buildings. Access to the site and utilities will be provided along the easement, as mentioned above in Lot 1. So here you can see the layout here on the plat on the screen or in your packets. Planning Department recommends to approve the preliminary and final, plat for this subdivision, since it does not include the addition of any additional public infrastructure. As you can see, lot 2 is to the east, the smaller lot. All ingress egress would be handled, through that easement that you can see on the south side of lot 1. Petitioner intends to hang on to the parcels. They're just, I believe he's doing this for insurance purposes, but he may be able to answer some of those other questions.
Was there any input from the public either?
Now, we got a couple calls for this, but it was mostly pertaining to the wetlands and floodplain to the north of the site. I think when people see the word subdivision, they think housing, but this is not for the intent of placing housing on this parcel. It's just to delineate the 2 existing facilities.
And the city's given a favorable recommendation?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Any questions or comments for, yeah?
So lot one has a building on it, what's that building used for?
So lot 1 contains a strip mall with a grocery store, a restaurant. It's got some tenants in it already.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can go back to the street view. You guys, once you see it, you'll recognize where we're
Grocery
at.
store, the one, yeah.
Right.
I go there
Storage
often.
units are right behind it.
Yeah, so the strip mall should look very familiar to everybody. And then the storage units, you probably don't notice them if you're, unless you're going back there, but there's some storage units behind.
Yeah,
So kind of
right,
tucked out
I
of the way.
noticed them.
So we just need to separate the businesses from storage units.
Correct, yeah, that's what his intention is, and, yeah, that's why we're here today for this.
Justin, don't all lots need to have frontage?
No, they just need to have access. The plan commission can look at that if there's a concern about access, like there are regulations as related to like a private road, like how many lots could be on a private road, but it doesn't necessarily need to have the frontage.
So egress is good enough for the city?
With that easement, now if Arturo was to go to sell this lot, I would definitely strongly encourage him to get a maintenance plan in place for the lots. So let's say he either maintained ownership of the storage units or vice versa, you maintained ownership of the strip mall only. You definitely wanna have that maintenance worked out so that, there were no disputes in the future of, like, the storage unit couldn't get access to back there. They would have legally be required to be able to access that, but who repays that lot when it starts to
So that
deteriorate?
the customers of the storage units would always have access to their.
Correct,
units.
yeah, there would be required to, and in accordance with this plat, they would always have an ability to access back there, correct, with the easement.
And it appears that the easement follows the, south and west walls of the existing building.
Correct, there's an offset there, but it does extend all along, as you can see, it does extend along the entire eastern, property line, proposed property line for lot 2.
And this is not, and this saves additional curb cuts as well.
Correct, yeah, and that would be a state issue, but yeah, they wouldn't need an additional curb cut as part of this.
If you look right behind you, that makes it easier to see.
So you can see that existing curb cut.
But on the survey from the south property line, the easement actually runs clear up to the south wall of the building, which is kind of unusual. So those parking spaces right there are obstructing the easement, if you will.
Well, I think it goes around behind there.
Yeah, it does, but
He's talking about the
yes.
south side.
And the intention to have it wider than you typically need easement is in case somebody did wanna reconfigure that site, they just need to have access to it. So it kinda gives you a little bit more flexibility if you create a wide easement. Doesn't mean that they have to have access through the entirety of the space.
That easement will also provide access to the back doors of all those businesses.
Correct.
Other questions or comments? Justin, thank you very much. Unless you have something more?
That's it.
Okay. And then anyone wishing to speak on behalf of this request, you want to come forward? Sold or sell?
Come on. I don't really have anything to say.
Oh,
He nailed it though, that's why I was separating it, just for insurance purposes, so.
Okay. Does anyone on the panel have any questions or comments for the gentleman? No, if not, okay.
I actually like just have a quick one real quick. Just glancing at this, I noticed that most of the stormwater easements fall on lot number 2. How is, the roof for lot number 1, does that just drain onto the hard space for lot number 1 onto the asphalt, or are they
Is lot
connected?
number one the storefront?
Yeah, lot number 1 is the storefront, and then lot number 2 is the, units. Does the roof from the storefront drain through pipes to the
There's
stormwater system?
actually underground retention there.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
So if you're looking at 22, is that 71 right there? Or was that, I can't see my eyesight. so-
71 is the middle
That
building.
L1, that right there, up, well, I guess that would be north, that's all underground retention right there.
Okay.
So, yeah, you drive up to it, you'll see this,
Okay, and where's that outlet, that underground detention?
I have no idea. I think, yeah, I'm sorry, I just know that when
Like
we built,
north.
when we built, they required underground retention there.
I mean, there's plenty falling this out, I'm sure it's going to it. How old is this building?
The front one, I mean, that predates me, so probably '08.
Okay.
And then the storage units we built 2021.
So if there were issues by now, they do.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to check, since I noticed all those storm easements were on lot number 2, I just wanted to see how that was set up, but if it's got underground, then
Yeah.
that's good.
Other questions or comments? Thank you very much. Okay, so no one's here to speak otherwise, I'll close it to the public. Panel, any thoughts? Are we ready for a vote?
Can you give me just a second?
While Jeff's looking that up, I guess, I just want to make a comment. It looks like the northern part, there's quite a bit of fall there, like 6, 8 feet. Is that absolutely not buildable because it's so low, or?
That's, is that the creek?
Well,
Yeah,
between the
floodplain,
buildings and the
Yeah.
creek, that big area, that's pretty swampy, isn't it? Yeah, so you
So
probably
we-
could never build that.
We maxed it out.
Wetlands
Yeah,
and,
that doesn't-
yeah.
So that yellow right there on that building, where it shows quote unquote wetlands,
Yeah.
it's not. We actually raised it up when we were in the process of getting, Loma, right? So to get that all out of there, but if you actually, on the site, on the survey that we just got done, it shows that we got an elevation report. That's way above the 100-year floodplain, so none of those structures there are in the flood zone. But obviously, we're paying the insurance right now, and until the Loma goes through, then it will show that it's not.
Go ahead, Jeff, what was your concern?
No, his drainage question was a great question. I just wanted to look up the elevations and see if there was a county drain indicated in Beacon, which there is not, but that's not abnormal. But the elevations show a great fall into Deeds Creek. We're far away from the floodway. We are somewhat in the floodplain, but he just addressed that, so. You need a motion?
We do, and then I'm gonna turn it over to Diane, because this is a triple header. So, go ahead, Jeff.
First up, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the preliminary plat as presented to us today.
Okay.
I'll
Do I get a
second.
second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None?
So seeing that the vote was unanimous, I would make a motion to suspend the rules so we can vote on the final plat.
Second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? None? Okay, unanimous, okay.
Since that was unanimous, then I'll make a motion that we approve the final plat.
Okay, second.
Second.
Thank you, Max. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay, very good, passes. Best wishes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and then, Justin, take it away from there.
So today we have a couple presentations for you. The first one, it's kind of a joint presentation, but it will be started with Leah, the assistant planner. I'm very excited for her to share some of the work she's been doing with the strategic plan. And then we will also have our graduate assistant, Niger Sultana. She's been helping us and will continue to help us throughout the rest of this year as she completes her master's degree. But she's put together some really comprehensive data for our planning process that we'll be undertaking at the commencement of the strategic planning process. So with that, I'll turn it over to them. They'll get set up. I'm going to turn off the light over here.
Should we move and go sit out so we can see it? Let's go ahead and move out unless you can see it really well.
Yeah, if you'd like.
Yeah, motion to move.
Good idea.
Sit here.
Good idea. I can get smaller.
It's been trouble.
We ain't going that far.
He's already seen this once today. He's trying to go.
Okay. So every community has competing needs, limited resources, and countless opportunities. The challenge is simply not deciding what we can do, but determining what we should do, and that is what I'll be outlining in our proposed 2026 strategic plan today. First, since we'll be discussing the strategic plan and the comprehensive plan back to back, I want to take a moment to clarify the difference between the two and how they work together. So how I like to think of it is the comprehensive plan is a map showing where you're going and the places you want to visit, and the strategic plan is kind of that itinerary of what you'll be doing. So comprehensive big plan, strategic plan is the kind of agenda on what you're going to be doing specifically during that trip. Okay, so first item on our agenda in this strategic plan is growth management. Communities don't become great by accident. They become great because they intentionally plan for the future. As Warsaw continues to grow, we have an opportunity to create a city where walking and biking are realistic options, where parking supports a thriving downtown, and where families and young professionals choose to build their lives because there's always something to do. Growth also means offering varying lot sizes and housing types that fit at different stages of life and budgets, while ensuring our zoning policies evolve alongside our community. These aren't just planning initiatives, they're investments in the kind of community we want the next generation to inherit. Second item on our itinerary is business attraction and retention. So a strong local economy doesn't just happen, it grows because a community creates the right environment for businesses to succeed. This means creating new opportunities for entrepreneurs and employers by exploring financial incentives that encourage investment in our city while making sure current and prospective businesses understand those incentives as well and know about the resources available to help them thrive. It means investing in the infrastructure and land needed to support its continued growth. And it also means protecting the long-term future of our airport as a regional asset. Third is neighborhood revitalization. Great neighborhoods are shaped by thoughtful choices that put people first. By creating more flexible housing options, investing in safer streets, and better lit streets, we can achieve this. And that last item, after some discussion today with some council members, may be taken off, so you can just pretend like that doesn't exist, that third bullet point. An example of zoning flexibility would be PUD, or planned unit development. Greenbrier has this. Instead of requiring every lot to meet the standard requirements for that zone, we allow some flexibility. Typically those are with setbacks. So those homes are on smaller lots and they're closer together, which means they're more affordable.
And the second one, we added increased lighting and walkability
Yes.
within the neighborhoods for safety.
item on our itinerary here in the strategic plan is communication. This was a big discussion, during our council sessions. So by creating this communications and marketing role, we want to be able to better tell our story, keep departments aligned, and share the work happening across the city, and create a community where employees and residents feel informed, involved, and connected to the future of where they live. And lastly, on our itinerary here is the downtown. We all know a downtown is the heart of a community where businesses grow and residents gather. By investing in the appearance and accessibility of our downtown, by improving pedestrian and trail connections, and supporting new entrepreneurs through financial incentives, we create an environment where people want to spend time, where businesses want to invest, and the community continues to grow. These investments strengthen the downtown as a destination, preserve its character, and ensure it remains a vibrant center of activity for future generations. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Here, can we comment on the specifics of the points you raised, or do you not want to do that here?
This plan is more specifically derived from the input of the council, but if you had a comment and the council could.
Well, there were a couple of, one of them is the progress on downtown greenways. We've been talking about that for a long time. Is that being addressed anytime soon, where you can go through downtown and have the greenways?
I'm glad you brought that up, Rick. We actually have a $500,000 grant to implement that, so we're gonna start that work real soon. It would be more of a temporary solution, but we're gonna explore a bunch of different options. So that's gonna be over the next, the life of the grant is 5 years. So we've got 5 years to kind of implement this.
By implementing, does that mean it's finished, or you're still on a planning stage?
It will be, we have 5 years and $500,000 to implement a design solution for that corridor.
Okay, so that gets to the design, we still have to implement it.
We would have some of that budget, some of that $500,000 will go to implementing a potential solution. Now, it won't be the full-blown, it would take a couple $1 million to do a full-blown trail through downtown, but we're gonna look at all the different options, the design options to make something that the community really can use and enjoy.
Okay, can you give an update on the parking garage, or is that?
That's county, and I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't know what they're gonna do.
Fair enough. Jeff?
Going to the zoning flexibility, you mentioned a few things, but I didn't hear, is there any discussion about, looking into ADUs within the city?
What's that stand for, Jeff?
Sorry, accessory dwelling unit?
Glad you asked that. So, we will be, and it's gonna talk about a little bit of this,
You might explain a little further what that is, because I have no idea what it is.
So it would be, if somebody has a house in a single-family neighborhood or a house in the city somewhere, and an accessory dwelling unit would allow them to build like a mother-in-law suite or an additional.
Apartment.
Yeah, so something, an additional dwelling unit on their property.
Or a casita, if you think of, you
Yeah.
know.
There you go.
Casita is, yeah.
So as part of SB1, there's a new state law, we're gonna have public hearings that examine our zoning ordinance. We may try to bite that off at our next plan commission meeting, so we're gonna send letters to the realtors, the developers, and some of the builders in the community, to be part of that public hearing. So you guys will be the lucky ones that will get to hear any comments or challenges, a full discussion of that, of our zoning ordinance. So kind of going over some of what we have, and then what we might consider changing. So that's part of the requirements for SB1, that we do that before the end of the year. So that's all the communities in the state are required to do this. So, everybody from South Bend to Indy, everybody's gonna be doing it. So, that's our goal, is to hear things like the accessory dwelling units, those kind of comments, permit fees, all that, good stuff to be discussed at this meeting. So if you have items that, particularly that you would wanna address, the state law has a list of requirements. But if you as board members, please send me any of those items you'd wanna discuss as part of that meeting. because if it's not included on that list, it may get overlooked, at least initially, but you can always bring it up in the meeting as well. So just wanted to throw that out there. We were gonna talk about that at the end of the meeting, but just thought it was a good time to discuss it.
Jeff's got another question.
While you're on that subject, is the, town's minimum square footage for a new build, still 900 square foot?
So we don't have, that minimum square foot requirement isn't in our ordinance, but there's a building code that may push it to that amount. Now, we can't go around state building codes necessarily, so, we don't have as far as I'm aware, we do not have anything in our ordinance that says your house must be this amount of square feet. It's all based on building codes, the building codes that are at state and federal level. So they have requirements for the bathroom size and different things, but we don't have a minimum square foot locally.
We do have, however, that it must be on a permanent foundation.
Right.
So we've got people wanting to just park their tiny house and still have it on the wheels.
Yeah, if it's got a chassis, a lot of those are considered mobile homes. So we do have specific requirements for a mobile versus modular home. And mobile home parks are only permitted mobile homes are only permitted in mobile home parks, currently. So that's something that you could discuss at the meeting too.
So,
I'm sorry, Commissioner.
conventional construction, there is no minimum square footage other than following state building code.
Correct.
And along with this discussion, and Justin, you probably remember this, the young lady, when the Greenbrier was making their presentation, talking about waiting for people like me to die so they could get some of the homes that are already established. Well, are we focused on trying to provide affordable housing to young people? I mean, is that a key theme in what the things you're talking about right now?
Yeah, we have a couple council members in this room, that have seen, our work in that regard using PUDs, so that the council has chosen to adopt a handful of PUDs over the last 5 years, which have given that flexibility to developers to make smaller homes on smaller lots, to get that affordability that people are looking for. So, Greenbrier is a good example where they did do a PUD in the northeast corner to get smaller lot sizes, to get that house price down. Bella Vista is another one, where the council approved an exception to our ones to get those smaller units.
This is unfair, but do you know what those villas went for though? What was affordable according to them when they sold those villas?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I would have to look at Beacon. I might be able to pull it up here shortly, but I want to say they were in the 300.
Yeah, I just want that's
Range.
affordable, but yeah. Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments they want to make? Okay, seeing none. Back to you.
I'll hand it off to Nigel.
Hello everyone, I'm Nadia Sultana, the summer intern at the City of Warsaw Building and Planning Department. I'm also doing my master's at the Boston University Planning Department, starting my second year this fall. Here I'll be talking about the comprehensive plan of the City of Warsaw, what it is, why we need a comprehensive plan, and what are the current needs and trends of the City of Warsaw, and how we can process a comprehensive plan for the city. And I name it the Warsaw Way 2045 because I think it captured the vibes that this comprehensive plan is particularly for the city. So here it is, this name comes, but you can always change this name. So now, the first topic is what is a comprehensive plan? It is a long-term guide that captures the vision of what a community wants to be in the future. And typically it's written with a 20-year outlook, but it is supposed to be changed, like a major update is supposed to happen in every 5 to 10 years. Why? Because this world, our world is changing and fast. In USA, like more and more households are now, they want to be kids free. Like more and more households, there are multi-generational family are living. So there are sustainability issues, housing crisis, technological change. So many things are happening. So how we can stay relevant? We have to be up to date our comprehensive plan. And as you can see, like whenever any development happened, it was planned to some extent. Like how? Let's say when in early days, a factory was planned, like built. It was built alongside a river, a waterway. Why? Because they can dispose their trash on the water body. Like in early days when developer wanted to build a housing, they wanted to build it on the flat farmland because they didn't have to pay much to site application because it's already flat. So you see, like people are doing like to decrease their costing, but it is increasing other people's costing. So what can we do? Who can oversee this? Comprehensive plan is that plan that can oversee the entire process. As you can see, the name, as the name suggests, comprehensive plan means it is to benefit the entire community.
What year was that plan?
Yeah, I saw that, Eagle Lake, I never saw it.
It's from 1876.
I knew it was really early, okay.
Yes. So what are the purposes of comprehensive plan? It guides investment. It helps local government provide services efficiently. Like it helps prioritizes the investment plans such as where we should put parks, community centers, so that it can go along the goals of the comprehensive plan. It helps getting the grants so that it can go along with the long-term vision of the community. It also create businesses, create jobs so that it can improve the local economy. It also protects property values such as it can go along with the land use plans and the infrastructure projects that is needed for the community. It preserves and enhances community character and improves quality of life, encourages resiliency, and also one of the important part is it makes communities healthier because it provides options like what should be like how it can provide safe streets, sidewalks, and it prevents unwise development. This is the way comprehensive plan helps our community. Like we have some recent plans, like we have our previous plans. Like you can see, like the Downtown Warsaw 2030 strategic plan is there. Downtown Warsaw Cultural Arts District plan is there, and our Parks and Recreation Department does their plan every 5 years. But you can see all of these for the purposes of themselves. Like it can resolve their issues. But we need a plan that can resolve the issues for the entire community. We do have a comprehensive plan, and it is the comprehensive plan from 2015. But even in that plan, it shows that there should be a review cycle for the capital improvement and land classification in every 5 years. And it talked, in that plan, it talked about the growth and development expectations for 10 years. But now, we're in the 12th year already. So a lot has been changed and it is changing. And you can see in the housing section, we have few subsidized housing, we have senior housing, we recently completed in a special loft for the market rate apartments. Millers will be completed in 2026 as well. We have our Greenbrier, that is the single family detached housing. It has 130 units on the plan, but it's the ongoing plan. And in the industry and economic sector, a lot has been changed too. Like we have our Warsaw Tech Park, where Banner Medical and our other industries are already in there. Zimmer Biomed or Paragon Medical expanded their industry by these 12 years. And we know that Autocom Medical and Slate Auto is coming. And in this year, they are supposed to have around like 50 to 300 employees for the Autocom Medical. And from the news, I found that Slate Auto is thinking that they will employ 2,000 people. Like where we can provide options or services for these people. That's why we need a comprehensive plan. Now let's talk about our city. Our city, well, you already know this is located in Kosciuszko County, North Central Indiana. In 2024, we have the population of around 16,768, and there is a steady population growth. From 2010 until 2024, there was 25% population growth. And the county is also increasing, but they have a very less amount of increase in comparison to the city of Warsaw. I also wanted to talk about some of the data from I did for this comprehensive plan review. If you look at the race and ethnicity distribution, in the race distribution side, you can see in 2010, there were 89% people were white, whereas in 2024, 78%. And the interesting thing is, in 2010, only 2% people were from 2 or more races, but now, in 2024, 12% people are from 2 or more races. And you see, if you see at the ethnicity distribution, previously it was 91% people are non-Hispanic, but now in 2024, 15% people are Hispanic, so the 85% people are non-Hispanic. So even the race and ethnicity distribution is changing, so we need to provide for these people their multiculturalism. So because everything is changing. This is an important topic I wanted to talk about, that is housing affordability. According to United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, the measure of housing affordability is that if a household spends more than 30% of their gross income on rent or mortgage payment and essential utilities, they are called cost burdened household. And why we need to know about this? Because when there are lots of cost burdened household, there are instability in their houses, there are income instability, there are child development problems, there are housing problems, public health issues. So we need to know what are the what housing are cost burdened housing, like what we can do about that. In the first chart, you can see, this is from 2024, around 64% of household in Warsaw was cost burdened household, and from these, 54% are renter occupied households. And in the second chart, if you see, if you look at the occupancy status of the housing units in Warsaw, the interesting thing is from 2010 to 2024, owner-occupied housing unit did not change much. It's almost the same, actually the same number. But renter-occupied housing number changed. It was like less than owner-occupied housing before, but from 2020, it is actually more, which is very unique for a city size like Warsaw. It is a small city with only 16,000 population. Still here, we have more renter-occupied household than owner-occupied household. Both of these charts actually suggest that we have a severe lack of affordable housing, both for owner and for the renter, specifically for the low and medium income group. Now let's look at the workforce. Well, we already know that most of the people here are working in the manufacturing sector. It's like 35% of people are in manufacturing sector jobs, 13% is in healthcare, and 10% is in retail trade. I mostly want to talk about the second chart actually. This is the inflow-outflow map for all the jobs, public and private, for the city of Warsaw in 2023. It shows there is a severe economic leakages happening at the city of Warsaw. What is called economic leakages? It happens when earning from one city is spending somewhere else. Like here in the city of Warsaw, 84% of the people who are working here, they're spending their earnings somewhere else because they don't live in the city. So we need a lot of initiatives so that we can keep these people inside the city. We should provide services so they can stay inside the city and spend their income here so that we can improve our local economy. And finally, from the data, you can see I did the population projection because comprehensive plan is normally for 20-year period. So this population projection said like how many people we will have around 2045. Well, I did I did linear projection, geometric projection, and exponential projection. They used the population growth rate from the last 5 years. And from the geometric projection rate, we can see there will be around 23,644 people in our city of Warsaw in around 2045. And why I used that projection because the growth rate that it used, it actually reflects the current world trend. That's why I used geometric projection rate. And from that projection rate, if we want to accommodate this amount of people, 23,644, how many housing units we need and how many acres of land we need. I use the current housing unit size, that is 2.2, and the current land area that we have, that is 8,576 acres. We need around 3,114 housing unit, more housing unit in 2045 to accommodate this amount of population. And also we need 3,500 acres of land to accommodate this amount of housing unit. This is just how can we start with the process. According to Indiana code, we are permitted to have a comprehensive plan, and these are the elements. These are pretty basic elements that all the comprehensive plans have. We can just follow that. Before starting this section, like who will be involved in the comprehensive plan process? The thing is everyone. This is for the city of Warsaw. So all the residents should be involved in the process. And how can they involve in the process? Because their vision, their goals should be reflected in the comprehensive plan. And while I was doing this research, I also did research on how other cities are doing the comprehensive plan and how they're reaching to the people. And you can see the McCordsville, Greenfield, New Haven, Columbia City, Plymouth, and Miriam is for Minneapolis, actually Minnesota. It's the same size city, that's why I used it. So all of these cities used these methods to reach out to people. So we can start in a fair or festival to reach out to people, to let them know like what we are doing, what is the purpose of comprehensive plan, how they can reflect their vision in the comprehensive plan. So we will reach out to these people so that they can see that they thought Warsaw this way in 2045. So we can have their vision to be fruitful in 2045. Finally, I summarized the process for our comprehensive plan 2045. It will start with a steering committee, forming a steering committee. Steering committee is kind of committee that involves like 10 to 20 people from local government officials, from industry sections, education sector, non-profits, real estate agents. So all of these people, they will be involved in the steering committee, and also the people, the regular residents will be involved in the public engagement session too. So if we start our comprehensive plan process with the steering committee by this month or next month, we will have our comprehensive plan 2045 by any time next year. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Do you want questions?
Yes, sure.
Okay, I'll start.
Yes.
You said 87% of the money earned here is going somewhere else. Can you give some idea of where that money is going? What is it we need to keep more of that money here?
Well, you see, I don't live here. I don't live here.
Yeah.
I'm coming here for my internship, and I'm getting my salary, and I'm spending it where I live. I live in Granger, South Bend. So
Okay.
that is the way when some people are maybe working in the Slate Auto. They are young people, they want an apartment that have all the services. They have walkability. They want to have walkability in their neighborhood. They want to have good preschool. They want to have child development, like good preschool, good elementary school, so that their young children can go there and have services.
So you're saying too many people that work here live somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay.
It's around 17,000 people, worker, who work there but live somewhere else. I will go to that one.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah.
Could you go back to the slides of showing the distribution of rent, home ownership? Okay, perfect, that's the one I want. Bottom one, first of all, just to be clear, that is the city limits of Warsaw, or that's zip codes of Warsaw?
The city limits.
City limits. Okay, so before I ask my question, when you look at that and you see home ownership is flat and rental is increasing and vacant kind of comes and goes with the economy. What's your takeaway from that?
It does mean we have severe lack of for sale housing for the owner so that they can get a house. You know, until I saw a data from 2020 to 2024, there were 0% vacancy rate on owner occupied housing. So no house was available for the owner to have. If you want to get a house, there is no house available.
Right, because we are locked in
Mhm.
currently within the city limits.
Mhm.
What identifiable developable properties are there for R1 single family?
I think I asked Justin about it the other day. He said there are already some of the lots planned, right?
Yeah, we're currently doing, so we have about 1,000 lots platted, within the city currently. But they're slowly being developed, so, but we're doing a housing study on the south side by the schools on the south side. So obviously that is a challenge, Jeff, that there are a lot of lots that haven't been
Yeah,
developed.
we've circled ourselves in, so we can't grow home ownership without annexation, where we can pull in more property so it can be developed into ownership. The rise in rental is easy because we've had a lot of, large-scale, apartments, both market-based and subsidized, that makes that the vacant is an economy-driven thing. And the lack of home ownership is where the lack of spending money within the same community is coming from. If they can't find a house in the city limits,
To buy.
goodbye.
Yes. And also we also need to look at the renters too, since their number is increasing. Like if we want to keep these people who are highly educated, who wants to have a family here, we have to give them like a good apartment complex so that they can live in, right?
Right, well, I agree with that, but also your top chart shows the challenge there.
Mm-hmm.
Most of our distribution of rental is on lower income, so even though they're in the city limits, they have less money to spend. And you go up to the 75,000 mark, where there's no rentals, that's where the most,
Cost burden owner occupied, yes,
disposable income that they would spend within the city
yes.
would come from. So what are we doing on this? That was my last.
That's part of this process, is looking at our options. There's a combination of things. We kind of got to do a little bit of all of it. We have to annex in new property, we have to do urban infill, we have to do brownfield redevelopment, we have to do a lot of different things to kind of pull this off.
Well, and the other factor that enters into this is, we have the same number of owner-occupied houses from all the way through this chart.
Yeah.
It's because many of the people that own these houses have built a house just outside the city limits because the lots are cheaper, there's more available, and that goes in all directions. So it would be interesting to know how many houses have been built in, say, Wayne Township. Because a lot of people that consider themselves Warsaw residents live just outside the city limits in one of the 20 subdivisions that are out there.
Yes, well, I did only for the city, for the comprehensive plan research, but obviously when the comprehensive plan process will start, there will be a detailed study on every sector, like what to do with that.
So Justin, it seems to me there's a little bit of a conflict here, because traditionally, the city's been reluctant to bring in neighborhoods, because that requires all kinds of money for infrastructure, and the tax base doesn't really justify, putting all the sewers and whatnot in, so you're not in a big hurry to annex neighborhoods, residential.
That, and it's almost impossible now with the state regulations to annex a whole neighborhood.
Say again now?
It's almost impossible to annex in a neighborhood currently with the state regulations, so that's likely not something we'll be able to do,
Yeah.
moving forward. Just the hoops you have to jump through, to annex right now.
But to her point though, does that make much difference? I mean, Jurgen seems to indicate, I kind of agree, if they live just outside the city, I would think they're still spending the money here. Does that conflict with what you said?
They will still, like spend money here, but who live in, let's say, Fulton, but for some reason they are working in the Slaterton, or some, they work in the Zimmerman, let's say, but they just drive from there to here for the work. They will not.
From where though? From like Fort Wayne or just here in the county?
So we have to look for, like, we have to have provisions here inside the city so they can buy the house. We have to have like for sale house inside the city so that they can buy the house.
Yeah.
So they can rent a beautiful apartment. If we don't have those things, they will not stay here.
I think the other important thing would be to go back to your very, I don't know if it's your first slide or your second slide, but I remember working on the comprehensive plan years ago. And so I think it would be on the second one where it
Is that
shows.
your comprehensive plan?
Yeah, that's it. I think might be on your second one as to what a comprehensive plan does, but like, for instance, when we did that one, we decided where do we want medical growth to grow? And we designated certain corridor for medical growth, and we said, okay, we ended up, like you showed in the first slide, with factories right alongside lakes.
Yes.
Where do we want manufacturing to be? And then we looked at that. So the very last one that you did not mention, but is probably one of the most important in Warsaw, is protecting environmental quality. That we have to look at that whenever we're planning. So where is residential gonna be, then where is commercial gonna be? And we looked at a lot of types of things, like could we have a planned community that would include within it like a grocery store and other amenities that would be right there within the neighborhood. And our problem has been with the big box stores coming in, that they wanna be on the highways, the thoroughfares. And so it's pushed our growth along those corridors. And rather than, like, people bemoan that there's no grocery store on the south side, but that's because the larger chain stores want a large enough base, so they're easier to get to from state and federal highways that come from all around the area and come in and use those amenities. And so those are the kind of things, when we look at the comprehensive plan, that we try to think about, like where do we want growth to happen? Because I can remember sitting here and having a discussion that if we did not plan the north side of our city, we would have every, and no disrespect, but every dollar store that's out there and every used car lot that's out there all congregating on that north side, because that was starting to happen. And so I remember taking really decisive action to stop that kind of growth and bring in quality shopping and quality type things. So as the plan commission has a large part in the comprehensive plan, then once the council sets a strategic plan, kind of like where we're going, then the plan commission really works on where should things be, so that then when we get requests that come in, we can say, that's not really the best and highest use for this area, this is not what we're, either zoned for, and some of those we've actually put zoning in place, but also what kind of development we're encouraging there, so that we can really look at it. So that's part of what we need to do as a plan commission, is be involved in that part of it.
Jeff?
I hear you. My question is a curiosity question away from what you just said, so I apologize. For you and for Justin, the city not having ownership of the water utility, is that a positive or negative when it comes to development, both residential, commercial, industrial?
I saw you looking at me, I knew you couldn't be serious about that.
Rick Scott, this one, he's got things. So it can create hurdles. We do have a good partner with Indian American Water. They come to our tech review meetings, they have representatives there. We do, by
force it that.
And Jeremy could probably fill in all the gaps, but sometimes we can put redevelopment dollars towards the extension of a main if we chose to. So as a community, maybe that's a little bit more costly, but operating another utility has its expenses as well. So we can participate in extensions of mains if we need to, if that makes the most economic sense for that development.
Okay, so I'll paraphrase it a different way. Even though there are workarounds, and even though there's a way we can tilt the table, it still adds additional time to anything we might want to do.
Potentially, yeah. It just depends on the location. Most of the easily developable parcels have been built on. Now we have those hurdles
Right.
to connect into the services.
Since he's talking about it, American Water, where are they at in terms of their percentage of capacity? Servicing what we have right now, where are they at? 60%, 80%, or do you know?
I don't know, they would have to tell us about that. But again, they do partner with us on new developments, so they're working with us, so.
Then I want to ask about, she's talking about apartments, and there's government subsidized and there's marketplace. Do we have plenty of both, or is one more in need than the other?
Well, when I looked into the current apartments which are being completed, I didn't find any recent one, only the 25 apartments that's completed in 2024. But the other one, all I'm talking about the last 12 years.
Say that again?
Last 12 years, from 2015 until 2026.
Okay, I mentioned, are they pretty much all capacity, or is there still, I know you showed some vacancies, which seem relatively low. Is there a good balance, or is one more in need than the other?
Well, for the vacancy rate it's actually average, like US average, so our vacancy rate is normal. It's not less or it's not more than what US supposed to have, but it is okay.
Okay.
Vacancy rate is okay, but we don't have for sale housing until 2024, and we have more renter occupied households than owner occupied.
So is it fair to say we have plenty of apartments, we don't have enough private housing, is that?
Well, for the owner, yes, we do not have housing for the owner to buy until 2024. All this data until 2024,
Yeah.
but right now we have Greenbrier, right? So there are some housing that are available, but we need more.
No.
Yeah, those are very small. I think you're right, Rick, and I think this is the point Jeff was making, is that Kosciuszko is a great place to live. I mean, the median income is 10% higher than the states. Like, I think the houses that people want to live in, the whole outflow that you're talking about is what Jeff was saying. There's a 0% rate for occupancy for someone who wants to buy a 3-bedroom house in town, who's an engineer coming to some of our good jobs in town. They can't find a house that they're wanting in the city of Warsaw, which I think is what Jeff was saying.
And you can't grow that because we have a boundary and we're saturated with what we have. So how do you have more housing unless you go to a higher density, condominium, townhouse? But all of the development is outside of the city limits, and this is focused on the city limits.
Yes.
That's why, and you can see from the 14 years, it's flat, and it's not flat because of lack of, there's a perception that living in town costs more, but if somebody takes this, trash bill and everything else and adds it up, it's not there. But, outside of the perception, whether they wanted to or not, we're not gonna grow that number without finding property to develop. Justin has already said we can't, sorry for language, but we can't go snatch at an existing development.
Right.
So we have to find vacant land, add it to the city that can be
Converted
developed
to-
into residential.
And so, Jeremy, part of that plan would be to identify unlivable or poor structures and redevelop those areas? there much of that? I mean, I know you've probably looked at it, is there much of that sort of area
Yeah,
that
there are-
could be
there are-
redeveloped?
Yeah, there are areas that could be, are prime for redevelopment, just like the Argonne corridor. We
Sure.
started to look at that more intensely with brownfield redevelopment program. So we've been able to get over 100 units, 140 units over there in Argonne, on old brownfield sites. So once we remediate them, we can clean them up and get those units built there, so.
You're talking about apartments now, though, right?
Yeah, Union Street Lofts and 2525 Sherwood were both redevelopment sites.
What is the occupancy rate of Union Walls? Looks like a lot of cars out there. It's
I want to say when we did the tour, I want to say they said they were about 40%, but it was increasing constantly, so.
I saw a news actually about the Union Station lofts. They said already more than 50% of the housing units are reserved because of the new employee from the auto industry.
Oh, yeah, yeah. it's like-
Yes, I saw that news. I read that news.
Okay.
There's great students there too,
Yeah.
What was that, Diane?
great students
Grace College.
that have moved into
Kind of rich living for a student, but more power to them.
But one of the problems is, that's market rate, so those rents are 18 to 2,500 a month, and that's not affordable for someone making $20 an hour.
Well, I understand that, yeah, but I think some people want that nicer apartment too, yeah, yeah.
Sure.
That's why I asked, do we have enough subsidized housing, which, you don't think so?
No, nowhere near,
Okay.
I think we're about 20% of what people want, what people that are eligible, that are looking for, it's around 20%. Just isn't enough money available to subsidize everybody.
Are there other questions or comments from Nigel? Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you. I have another question.
Justin, or any further, I guess we got another item now, don't we?
We got one more item.
Okay.
And this one, just a presentation, if the board felt compelled to take action, you could, otherwise we could just hear the memo and then table it until you.
I know,
Would you real
I've
quickly
been trying to listen, but I still can't hear it.
restate the issues we found last time with this dumpster thing, and then what has taken place to try and remedy those concerns from
Into the
last time?
microphone.
Because I've lost track of that, and I didn't see it in the minutes.
Yeah, and Nigel will cover this over the memo, but basically, there's a need to renovate down to the downtown area. With renovations, we understand that it's a good thing, but with renovations often comes dumpsters which take up several parking spaces. Currently, we do not regulate them as a city, so if they're placed there, they can be there for an indeterminate amount of time. Somebody drops a dumpster, ideally, we don't want it there for 6 months, or a year even. Right now, we don't really have anything on the books to regulate that.
Right.
So this dumpster ordinance came about because really of a good thing, but also we want to create that balance where it's not disruptive to other businesses downtown. So
But when
that's,
you made this presentation last time, I thought Jeff and Jorgen, something like that, had some very specific concerns. Do you remember what they were, Jorgen? Is that unfair?
I kind of recall, one of us did ask, about how long it could stay there.
Okay, now he's addressed that.
yeah, and we did take all those comments, all the
Okay.
feedback, and we put it into this revised draft. So if you don't see something or you have a question, we can look at that. But Niger did a lot of research to see what other communities were doing,
Right,
so she'll address some of that.
okay, so we're on to the dumpster ordinance.
Yes, hello again.
Oh, yeah.
Working on the dumpster ordinance, I don't have any presentation, I'm just talking about it. Working on the dumpster ordinance was my first project here as an intern, so I was very much enthusiastic about it. Though I had few law courses in college, but again, this is an ordinance, this is a very important thing. So I started with looking into what other similar sized cities are doing for their dumpster ordinance. I looked into the dumpster ordinance of the cities like Jasper, Peru, Huntington, Clinton, Knox, Vincennes, Logansport, Valparaiso, Madison. So I looked into their dumpster ordinance to look for the content and the pattern they are following to have a better dumpster ordinance for our city. First, we need to know what is the purpose of our dumpster ordinance. Before starting, I asked about it to Justin, why we need the dumpster ordinance. Because the city finds if any dumpsters or the roll of containers are placed within the public right of way, it may obstruct vehicular traffic, reduce available parking, interfere with pedestrian access, and damage public infrastructure if not properly regulated. So we need rules and regulations so that we can regulate these dumpsters and roll of containers. And before we delve into it, what are the definitions of dumpsters and roll of containers? The trash can that we use in our households, in our houses, those are 96 gallons containers. So dumpsters are those containers which are 1 cubic yard to less than 10 cubic yard. So our trash can in our household are slightly less than 1 cubic yard. Just for the reference, I'm telling this here. So dumpsters are those containers that will be used for temporary storage of solid waste, debris and recyclable materials that may empty into refuse collection. And the roll of container are bigger than this. These are from 10 cubic yard to 40 cubic yards. So you have to use a mechanized trucks to roll it off. That's why it's called roll of containers. So this is the important definitions for you to know about the sizes of the dumpsters. Then, what is the actual rule here? That is, no person shall place or cause to be placed any dumpster or roll of container within any public street, parking lane, sidewalk or other portion of the public right of way without first obtaining a right of way dumpster permit issued by the city of Warsaw. So everybody needs a permit for that to put their dumpsters or roll of containers within the public right of way. What are the information they need? These are minimum like the name and contact information, proposed location, the dimensions of the dumpsters, and the name of the dumpster provider, and the duration of that placement. The next point is, which is very important, this is the reason I asked Justin, what is the purpose of our dumpster ordinance? That is, as he said, like in our Central Business District area, CBD4, we have a lot of public parking space that has been obstructed because of these dumpsters. So we don't want these dumpsters to be located here for a longer period. That's why we need this permit. So at the same time, I looked into other cities' dumpster ordinance and their permit fees. This is like different for different cities. Some have permit fee for 1 year annually, some day by day use, like day-to-day use, some for 10 days, some for 30 days. So what is useful, what will be useful for ours? Since we don't want our dumpsters to stay long in our Central Business District, so I put the permit fee in 2 ways. That is, the first one is $25 for each obstructed parking space located within the C4 CBD Commercial District, and $15 per dumpster or roll of container located elsewhere within the city, so that we don't have these dumpsters for a longer period. And for the duration wise, if any dumpster needs to be located for more than 15 days, so first permit they will get for 15 days. If they need extension, they will have only 2 extensions. For the first extension, they needs to pay $25, same for everywhere in the city. And the second extension, this is also for 15 days, that is $50 for everywhere else in the city. So these 2 extensions, same amount of money everywhere else in the city, everywhere in the city.
Okay, so if you have it in a commercial district, then it would be $50 for the first.
No. So first permit will be $25.
I mean, 50 then you would have paid by the second one $50, and by the third extension
Only the first permit fee is different for the location.
That's what I'm saying.
So first one is $25 for the CBD and 15 for the other area. Second is $25 for.
So you're in a commercial district,
Mhm,
you pay $25.
mhm.
You wanna go another 15 days, now you paid $50.
She said it's
$25.
$25.
$25.
She's
So
adding
we've
them up.
already
She's
paid
adding them up.
25.
Oh, you mean
25
cumulative?
Is there,
Yes, yes.
is there a charge for the extension?
So then 50, and so then 100 for somebody to be in a commercial district. and get
Yes,
to-
but
Right, to get all these things.
altogether they will stay 45 days. They
My
cannot
neighbor
stay.
who's getting a new roof, they start off with $15, and then if it has to be there longer, it would be $25 on top of that, so it'd be $40.
Mhm.
And then if it has to be there longer, it would cost them $90, so only basically overall $10 less than if you had it downtown.
And that's only if it's in the right of way.
So these are on the street,
Okay.
yeah, so they're out on the street, this just happened in my neighborhood recently, so I'm just asking, because it seems pretty steep for the average homeowner who doesn't have a lot of recourse in dealing with the contractor. I don't know, maybe.
So some of the things that we brought up the first time, I can remember three. First of all, the cost, which it spelled out. Number two was how we were gonna define a dumpster, which you've done a great job here. The only thing seems a little, untouched, speaking of merchants like downtown who have their dumpsters in the alley for a business person, the alley is a right of way,
Mhm.
or, and you have forget about the money for right now, there's a 45-day limit.
Mhm.
I don't see anything in what you propose here that either addresses that or carves that out as not part of this.
If it is within the public right of way, they cannot, it cannot stay more than 45 days.
So,
And if it is 45 days, they shall require approval by the Board of Public Works and
He's
Safety.
talking about for trash, so we don't
And
pick
trash
up trash.
dumpsters.
We don't pick up trash for businesses, so they have to have a dumpster for their trash.
and those
So how are we
dumpsters are
gonna
in
distinguish between a
alleys.
dumpster for construction and a dumpster for
Then it
trash?
needs to be on their property.
They don't have.
They don't have any
Yeah.
property,
Yeah.
all of our businesses back up to alleys.
The initial draft had that clause in there, so we'll look at that. You're right, we wouldn't be regulating dumpster.
Right, and
dumpsters in an alley.
it's not carved out and it's not defined as separate, so.
Yeah, that would be something that would be.
Other than that, you hit everything we were
Yeah,
talking
we-
about.
I think one of the question you guys did, if that any parts of it is refundable or not. It's not refundable, it's non-refundable, these fees. Like if you have a permit for 15 days, you use it only for 10 days, you are not gonna get the money back for 5 days, so it's non-refundable.
Well, I don't know if we had a conclusion of Diane's comment about the cost, whether we think for someone outside the core city, if that's excessive or not. Do we wanna get some recommendation right now? Are we on board with what's proposed, or do we think there needs to be more of a difference for a neighborhood like Valley Springs?
I'm a little more harsh on this. If they're outside the core city, they are on a lot that's big enough to put the dumpster on the lot. They should be on the street. If they're on the street, they can pay.
It's only $1 a day.
Right, I mean, gee whiz.
It's $1 a day.
For the first 15 days.
Yes.
But then it does go up, but I do think.
$2 a day by the time you get done, if you get 2 extensions, but yeah.
I think that's minimum.
Put the roll off on the land
Put it
and
in
save
the-
yourself some money.
The roll-off's gonna be substantially more.
Roll-off's $400.
And a roll-off on the street in a residential or, outside of center city is, more disruptive than even downtown, because it is residential, people need to park and they need the dump trucks, the trash needs to run, and if during the winter, we need to plow the streets.
I do worry that who pulls the permit, I guess, is because that's who's gotta pay the fee,
Right.
but if your contractor has pulled the permit and sits it there, I guess I don't know.
It's the applicant.
In my opinion,
It's
the table is tilted towards the contractor because they're asking for liability coverage and proof of liability coverage, and that's going to throw most homeowners, but the contractors have that liability, so I see contractors are going to end up getting the permits because they
Okay.
already have.
Well, that holds it in check.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to tell you about the duration of the permit. Even if they have like this, they can put it like for 45 days within the extension. If the city seen that it is necessary to address any emergency, like utility repairs, public safety concern, or snow removal, they can remove the dumpsters. So city can do it like at the cost of those applicants. And you are right, we also talked about the liability, so they should provide proof of commercial general liability insurance, naming the city as an additional insurer, so that city can stay harmless for this situation. I guess that's all for the national ordinance.
So I just want a point of clarification. So if you are outside the CBD, it's $15 for the first 15
First.
days.
Then 25, then 50.
Okay, because I don't see that here. I just see the 15.
Then it's, later paragraph.
Is it? Okay.
It's in the actual ordinance.
Yeah, I don't see
It's
it.
in the section 4.
Well, she's got two parts there, Jerry. She's got a summary, then you gotta look into the actual ordinance
Okay,
that
I
follows
don't,
that.
I don't see
And
that.
also it's in the
See,
section
now there's the
4.
actual-
I see, okay. All right, got it.
Somebody bowling outside?
Yeah, I wish. Angels.
We're gonna bring it
I'm
on.
checking, it's still a watch, not a warrant.
They're pretty serious watch.
So if someone, let's say they pay their permit, their fee, they get the 2 extensions, they're there for like the maximum number of days, 45 days. Okay, well, on day 45, they go and they remove the dumpster, dump it, but then they come in that same day and apply for a new permit. Is there verbiage in here to kind of like have a statute of limitations on how much time before they can apply for another permit after maximizing their extensions?
I think what I found, if the ordinance says the maximum they can put it for 45 days, that's it from the city. Otherwise, they need a special approval from the public boards, public works and safety. It's not from the regular permit approval.
If
So
they
there's
came
not
back,
a-
sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, so there's not a 45-day limit within a certain amount of
Like a
set
year
year,
or
yeah,
something.
45 days per year,
So,
there's nothing like that.
Okay, we're now under a warning, so we should probably.
Yeah, and this, we can just table this, it just, for your discussion, take it, digest it, we'll more to come, if there's any other questions.
Okay, somebody make a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, you're on your own now.
There's-
No, I didn't do that, so I'm gonna show you.
Try to get around.
Text me, something good.